Brendon, you started in karts, you did Formula Ford and Toyota racing series in New Zealand. But since then, there's been so much more. You know, the Red Bull Scholarship, Mercedes Formula One testing driver, and now you're a works endurance driver for Porsche. You've had a few ups and downs, but
Yes.
it's been a remarkable international run over 7 years. And Christ, you're only 24.
I'm over here at 16, and it's been an amazing experience. But yeah, no, I love where I've ended up. Like you said before, I've had quite a few ups and downs. The Red Bull journey was amazing. They gave me such a big opportunity, and I tested Formula One cars with them. They gave me a great opportunity to be in F1, but fortunately at that time I wasn't doing the job I needed to be. I wasn't in the right place mentally. I wasn't happy, and didn't quite work out. But to be honest, I'm absolutely delighted where I've ended up, and take a little bit of a different avenue and have a look at endurance racing. And straight away from the first race, absolutely loved it. And I love the team element of it. You've got three teammates that you're working towards a common goal.
Yes.
So you're not really enemies with your teammates as much as you are in single seaters. And
Sure.
it just got on really well with it. Loved the style of racing. We call it endurance racing, but the truth is it's a sprint 24-hour race, because the cars need to be robust enough that we as drivers can push them 100% for the whole 24 hours, because the competition is so fierce. So in actual fact, we are doing qualifying laps for 24 hours, going there for the first time. 300,000 people there watching. Huge history, passion. I mean, okay, again, they're all cliche words, but until you've been there and experienced that atmosphere and kind of the roller coaster journey of the week, I'm so happy I went there in 2012, experienced it, found this new passion for racing, and went back in 2013. I think I made a good impression over the last few years, and I was racing in America, I was racing in Europe, racing every weekend I could, to be honest with you. Just trying to kind of put myself out there. And luckily, the likes of Porsche, who were starting their program up, were looking for someone young who had a little bit of experience in endurance racing. And I think they analysed many drivers, every stint that we do, every lap time. And they met me, they liked me, and
Sure.
here I am.
Fantastic. Now, Porsche had a great start to the season with the Silverstone podium. You were up there. Race 2, Spa, not so rewarding. But the team is clearly focused on Le Mans. How does your preparation work for that?
Yeah, I mean, as a new project, we always knew the start of the season was going to be very difficult. I mean, these cars are probably the most complicated cars on the earth right now. But the technology that we're using is something never seen before. It's technology that's not road cars. We're developing road cars of the future, and the competition is very fast. So we knew that going into the first race, it was very ambitious, and Porsche has a long-term goal. Getting on the podium in Silverstone was a real bonus. We didn't expect that. And then in Spa, although it didn't go well for in my car number 20, the other car actually took pole position, which showed that there's real potential in the car.
Yeah.
And we're actually running first and second for the first part of it. They did have a small technical issue, but the really promising thing is there's some real pace in the car.
Of course, it's been 16 years since Porsche has been at Le Mans, but they've won the race 16 times, so
Yes.
there's a hell of a history now. Speaking of history, you have a great sense of history yourself, and have said in the past that it would be a personal career highlight if you could perhaps emulate Chris Amon and Bruce McLaren by reaching that top step of the podium. Chris is certainly a big fan of yours. How much of your impetus to succeed direct links to that special Kiwi association with the race?
It's since I've been in Europe, that was the first thing that struck me as a young 16-year-old, was the kind of the reputation we have as Kiwis, and it's the likes of Chris and Bruce and Benny and all these guys that have, and not even the drivers, it's the mechanics as well. We have such a great history in motorsport and such a great reputation internationally. So it's nice that I'm one of the few actually of New Zealand drivers that are competing internationally at quite a high level, and hopefully carrying on that history. And it's special to be a part of that.
How are the Germans coping with having two Anzacs on the team?
It actually gets worse. One of our engineers is an Australian as well. And the chief mechanic's also a Kiwi, so yeah, it gets worse. But no, it's great. And like I say, I think as Kiwis and Australians, we have a really good reputation in motorsport.
Last year you finished 6th, and the year before you had a few issues, but you had some really fast, you made some great impressions, especially with the night driving, especially during that pre-dawn stint that most drivers say is the hardest by far. You just seem to be in your element.
It is actually one area that I'm really confident with. Yeah. Probably my favourite part of Le Mans, or endurance racing in general, is being able to drive in the night. You very much feel like you're in your own little world.
Yes.
You don't see your surroundings. It's a real tunnel vision, and it requires quite a different set of skills because most of your visual cues and markers are taken away.
Sure.
And I love it.
And of course, the 919 is an astounding machine, but it seems as much a science project as a racing car. How different is it to anything else you've experienced? It sounds like it's going to keep you very, very busy.
Everyone was quite worried that it was going to be a fuel-saving formula and it wasn't going to be real racing anymore. But it's really quite the opposite. I can only speak for our car, but the guys at Porsche have done a really amazing job with the drivetrain to make life quite easy for us. Yes, we're quite aware that, like you say, we have this hybrid system. We're generating energy while we're braking. We're also generating energy while we're accelerating through this exhaust system, which then feeds back into the battery. But while we're driving it, it's quite intuitive, and there's not too much for us to do other than brake and accelerate and try and get the car around as much as possible. Obviously, there's a few automated systems in place to make sure we don't use the more than the amount of fuel that we're allowed to per lap.
Yeah.
But the truth is, we have a certain amount of energy we can use per lap. We have some interesting ways that we create the energy, but the job as the race driver hasn't really changed. We accelerate very, very quickly, and with four-wheel drive, it's something quite special. Especially second and third gear, the rate that you accelerate is much faster than anything I've driven before. Toyota looking very, very strong. They won the first 2 rounds. It has to be said that at Spa, it was a very, very close race, and the sister car to ours, the number 14 Porsche, was really challenging for a victory, at least second until they had a small issue. So, I think it's going to be very close. Audi have won, I don't know how many races in the last 15 years, but they're never to be written off. And, we're coming back in, like you say, after 16 years and into a very complicated era. So producing this car and putting a race team together it's not as straightforward as you think. Even with all Porsche history and experience, it's really starting from scratch again. I hope it's going to be a really, really close fight at the front. Yeah, my father's coming over as well, coming for the week. He came. My brother and my father came last year. Actually, my brother was actually part of the team doing the driver change, which was very cool. He couldn't make it this year. He's pretty much running the shop back in Palmerston North at the moment. Yeah. So I think Dad called rank. Yeah, so no, it's going to be great to have him there. Obviously, I think he's really proud, and he couldn't miss the opportunity to see me as a factory driver for the first time.
Porsche have a job for him. Some real rims.
Yeah, obviously he's an engine builder by trade, but I'm not sure they're going to let him